What will you pick? A high salary or a high risk bet? Well, this is the choice millions of Indians are facing when they go abroad. Welcome to TimesXP's Indian Diaspora section with me, Driti Atri. And picture this for a moment. One Indian lands in the United States with a tech job. A stable salary, a predictable life, a monthly income. Another Indian lands with no fixed income. Just an idea, a small shop, and a risky start. Fast forward 10 years, one is still earning quite well but working for somebody else. The other might be running a chain of businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where the story begins. Why do many Gujaratis choose business while others, specifically South Indians, chase salaries? Well, the answer is their mindset. Business is not a choice for them. It is a definite mindset for them. From a very young age, many Gujaratis, they grow up watching trade. Buying, selling, negotiating, calculating profits. They don't just learn to work, they learn to build. And as the results, they are quite visible, and it's not a theory, but in hard numbers. Today, Gujaratis, who are a teeny tiny majority in the United States population, about 1%, they control a massive share of real businesses. In fact, over 40% of hotels and motels in the United States are owned by Gujaratis. And you know what, in small towns, that number goes as high as 80 to 90% under the Patel community. Think about that for a second. A community that is small, controlling such a huge sector. So when they go abroad, the thinking is very different. Not which job will I get, but what can I start? And this is where the risk begins, because business is not easy. Long hours, uncertain income, initial losses, and sometimes even debt. But here's the real twist. If it works, it changes everything, because a salary has a limit, right? A business does not have a limit. Well, a job pays you once a month. A business can pay you every single day. And slowly, step by step, many build system. Small stores, motels, gas station franchisees. Not overnight success though, but consistent growth. In fact, the US motel industry alone, heavily dominated by Gujaratis, is worth tens of billions of dollars, creating jobs for thousands and generating massive yearly revenue. Now compare that to the tech job. Well, dominated by South Indians here. High salary, yes, but also a lot of pressure. Deadlines, layoffs, and visa dependency. One market crash and everything feels uncertain. So while one path, it looks really safe, the other quietly builds control. Control over income, control over time, and control over decision. And that control, that's powerful. But here's the reality check. Ladies and gentlemen, not everyone can do this. Business needs courage. It needs patience. Most importantly, it needs the ability to fail and start again. Because many try and fail. We just don't hear those stories very often. Even within the Gujarati community, success comes after years of sacrifice. Families often live inside their own motels. They cut the cost, they reinvest the profit, and they expand slowly. And that's how one property becomes two, and two become 10. So, is business better than job? No, not always. It depends on the person, the mindset, and the risk appetite here. But what this trend really shows is something deeper. Different communities, different strategies. Some choose stability, some choose scalability, and both have a price. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about salary versus business. It's about one simple question. Do you want security or do you want freedom?